Alright, my name's Colton McColgan. This is my final presentation on my informative speech. This is my audience, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And same camera person as last time. Alright, you guys ready? So to begin with, I want you guys to go ahead and close your eyes for a minute. And I promise your belongings will still be there when you open it up. Now picture it's your last day before vacation. I want you to picture your perfect paradise. Whether it's the perfect beach in Mexico or skiing down the mountains in Alaska. Now I want you to get this picture in your head. I want you to really think about it. Think about the temperature around you, the environment around you. I want you to feel the salt and the sea breeze blowing in your hair, or the shiver down your spine when the snow hits the back of your neck. Once you do that, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Now I want you to think about this really hard, because the Earth is one set distance away from the sun. Yet we have all these various different climates around the world. Why is this? And the answer might surprise you, because a lot of it actually has to do with the ocean and the currents in it. So in my speech today, I'm going to inform you guys on the importance of the ocean and how it affects our climate around the globe. And to do this, I'll be going over its ability to store heat and absorb heat from the sun, and how the ocean currents actually transfer the heat around the world. So if you want to begin with me here, look at this top left chart here. What this actually is this is the average temperature around the Earth at any given time. So whereas you got the oranges, the yellows, and the reds are the warmer part of the section compared to the north and south, where it's a lot cooler blues, purples, and greens. So why isn't it orange all over? Why are we evenly heated throughout? This is because when we've taken previous science classes, we learned that the Earth doesn't actually rotate on a perfectly vertical axis. However, it's actually canted to the side. And because of this, not every part of the Earth gets the same amount of direct sunlight. So that's what you actually see here. Whereas closer to the equator, you get more direct sunlight, therefore the water becomes much, much warmer. Now what happens to this water is, once it hits a certain temperature, it begins to evaporate, much like boiling water for raviolis or any kind of pasta. As this water vapor rises in the atmosphere, it tends to condense, causing precipitation, which leads me to my next chart over here. Now the reason I put these two next to each other is, look at the correlation here. Whereas this one has the hotter temperature in the middle, this one has the most annual rainfall in the middle compared to the north and south poles. However, with that also being said, it's not like they don't get rain up in the north or in the south. This is because they have wind currents that actually transport this water precipitation around the globe. The reason I bring this up is because this leads me into my next topic, which is the importance of ocean currents. So what is a current? A current is normally when warmer water meets cooler water. When this happens, a disturbance is caused where the warmer water tends to rise as the cooler water tends to be forced under, which is represented in this chart down here. Now as you can see, it causes all these little cyclones around the world. Now the importance of this is, because of these cyclones, the warmer waters of the equator, around the Gulf, around Brazil, and all this stuff, is actually transported up north, like it's shown in this graph here. Now what's not shown in this, because I couldn't find an accurate representation of it, is not only is the warmer water getting transported north, but the cooler water is actually getting pulled down from the north, closer to the equator. Now the importance of this is, if it weren't for this regulation and this circulation, the hotter climates would be much, much hotter, and the colder climates would be much, much colder, to the point where it couldn't sustain life. So in conclusion, if it weren't for the ocean's ability to absorb this heat, the world would just be one dead floating rock in space. There wouldn't be any climates, it would be too harsh of an environment for anything to live. However, if it weren't for the currents, this warm water would just sit in one certain area and essentially just boil off. That is when the ocean's currents come in. These actually act as like the world global thermostat, regulating everything around us, because if it weren't for this, the exhausting heat in Brazil would be so much hotter, and the cold in Antarctica would be so much colder, to the point that bacteria itself couldn't even live. So what it all really boils down to is, if you want a happy household, don't mess with the thermostat. That's all. Thank you. Oh, no golf clap? No golf clap? Thank you.